absolutely hate hanging down here after hours in the museum. Very rarely do I come down here after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Maybe 5 o'clock in the evening. After that, it gets kind of scary down here. What's up, fellow collectors? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be a curator today. Well, guys, better yet, I'm going to be more of a storyteller today. I've often been asked the question by subscribers and viewers, how scary is the museum after hours? And my response has always been a very easy one, very simple one. I wouldn't know. I try not to be down here in the museum after hours. Anything after 5 o'clock in the evening, I rarely come down to the museum. And that's for a few reasons. As I talk to you guys now, after hours in the museum. Guys, have you ever had something strange happen in your collection room of action figures that you just couldn't explain? Well, I had a few situations like that in the past 2-3 years. I mean, we've had our channel for 3 years now, but I've had my collection forever. Some strange things happen in the museum, and I find it very befitting now that we're nearing Halloween, kind of getting in a Halloween spirit. I say, you know what? I can answer these questions to you guys about scary situations here at the museum. I used to keep the lights on. I'm not ashamed to admit that, guys. I hate the dark. I try to keep the lights on. I was that kid that always wanted to sleep with the light on or with the bedroom door open. Yes, I was that kid that believed that there was an actual monster in my closet or a monster hiding underneath the bed. And if any of you guys are old enough to remember the cult classic movie now, Salem's Lot, where the vampires are right outside your window, scratching on the window, asking to come in, I never slept next to the window. I never wanted my bed next to the window. But it's things like that, scary situations like that, mixed with a lot of action figures that stare out into the dark. You know, I often wondered, what happens down here in the museum after hours? Or do I even want to know? Well, I had a fantastic situation. I say fantastic as in scary fantastic, where it was just almost unbelievable. But I almost, you know what, I try to apply science to anything that's scary, ghostly, or any type of entity or encounter. I always try to apply logical thinking and science behind it. Case in point, I was down here a couple of days ago, and let's pick him up. My Lost in Space, my B9 robot, batteries have long since been gone, right? Well, let's see. Let's test that theory. See, it's got a little bit of juice left after all these years. This is from 1997. The story with this, though, is you have to press this, right? So I'm down here in the museum. I'm prepping for a video that I would never get around to doing, because out of nowhere, this figure, which you see, is mint in box, started to talk, to say exactly that, and the torso part turned. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to see. And I know some people are saying, well, M.I.B, why do you still have it? Remember I told you guys I tried to use deductive reasoning, science, logic, because I think of myself as a rational man, a very intelligent thinking person. So I'm telling myself that the batteries, or maybe there's just a fritz with the batteries or with the components inside the robot, the B-19 robot, that made him do that. You know, he's over 20 years old, and yes, he's mint in box, and to me it's incredible to even think that his batteries still operate at this time. But I spoke to a fellow collector, and I shared that story with him, as it thunders and lightning outside of the museum now. But I shared that story with him, and he said, well, wouldn't it takes pressure to operate the voice mechanism? Now, that's the last thing I wanted to hear about that robot, that it takes pressure, somebody actually pressing on the button to operate that robot. Guys, give you a little history on my house. My house, it's a beautiful home. It was built in 1920. So I'm not fantastic with math. I'm going to say that's over 100 years, nearly 100 years old, right? So I don't know a lot of history about the house, but I've seen a lot of movies that suggest certain things. Where the house was built, who lived in the house 100 years ago, 70 years ago, 50 years ago. I bring all that up because during making a video, and I believe the video I was making was on my my gift from Terry Jackson, the Star Trek Spock gift set, figure set, gift set. I was the only one home at the time. Wife and kids were out of the house. I heard as if somebody was coming down my basement stairs. I didn't think too much of it at the time because I knew I was the only one in the house. And because the house, it's older home, so it creaks and, you know, guys, how all that, you know, pipes sound crazy and, you know, staircases creak and stuff. So you didn't think too much of it at the time. But after finishing the video, I went upstairs and had a cup of coffee and relaxed. And I came back down to take a look at a figure that I was thinking about doing a video on for some research. And which figure was that? Oh my goodness. It's one of these figures. I don't know if it was my Wonder Woman figure. It was anyway, one of the figures was knocked down. And you guys know how I am with my action figures. Everything has its place. Everything is in its place. Everything is perfect. It has to be to exist in this museum. Guys, this is I've learned to live with it. I've learned to kind of tune it out because I don't know if you're very religious or not, but I am. So I try not to really allow my mind to really just roam free like that with that type of thinking. Another scary, and if you want to call it scary, because we're talking about battery operated figures, action figures. My Forbidden Planet robots. Here's a good one for you. And it's killing me because I'm an M.I.B collector. And my wife said, well, just take it out and check it. And I can't because of my M.I.B illness. Both of these robots started to talk by themselves. Both of these robots started to talk by themselves. My wife said, well, maybe the batteries are going bad. Well, they're fairly new. You know, they're maybe 5 or 6 months old, but is it possible the batteries have gone bad? Sure. Is there an entity, a very youthful, young entity that exists down here in a museum at night with these action figures? A toyland, if you will. I don't know. Guys, what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. We're only a few weeks away from Halloween. The witching hour is almost upon us. Do strange things happen in your museum? Do strange things happen in your collection rooms? when you turn the light off? Do you see shadows in your collection rooms where there shouldn't be any shadows? We want to hear all of that, guys. Just something to think about as we grow closer and closer to Halloween. Somebody asked me, would I sleep in my museum to find out if it was haunted? And they were jokingly teasing me about this. No. Why tempt fate? Oh, that's always been my motto. Just something to think about, guys. So if you hear a bump in the night, something shift or move in your collection rooms, think about this video. Leave a comment on this video. You're not alone. Guys, I'm going to get out of here, grab a cup of coffee. As a matter of fact, I'm not turning the lights off. I'm running right back upstairs, out of the museum. You know the routine, guys. Yes, M.I.B is a big chicken. You know the routine, guys. God bless. Stay safe. Keep a special lookout on your action figures. God bless. And keep collecting.